Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's your boy, Mac and Cheese, and tonight we have a new game I'm kind of really interested in talking about. And before we get into this video, before we talk about it anyway, I have been sick since New Year's. Not that I'm really making videos anyway, but I've been kind of want to make things, but I can't really. I'm much better than I was. My voice is healing pretty well, so I'm kind of thinking I'm thinking well enough to make a video. Some words might not come out, maybe when I speak, but for the most part I should be okay. So bear with me while I have this voice right now. So get into the game. So I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I know what the game is called. Apparently, it's called Hell's Crusade or Hell's Crusader. Um, I'm a big fan of 40K. I love Warhammer, and then the people over at as you can see here, the people over who made the Astartes mod for the Space Marines 2, bless them people. If you haven't tried the Astartes mod, Space Marines 2, it is absolutely fantastic. But love this guys. Thank you very much for making this mod. But what we really want to talk about is the head guy or head person. I'm not sure if the head person is making it, but this is the post they made, which put me on to make this video in the first place. So it says, big announcement helped shape my next game project. Hey everyone. Since leaving the Legends at CD Projekt Red to pursue my own projects, I've been quietly building something new. For real more, I need your help with a major decision. Now, I don't know what their role was at CD Projekt Red. I don't know when they left CD Projekt Red, but we all know CD Projekt Red is makings of Cyberpunk and The Witcher. He probably made more. I'm not sure what else they made. So, the project. I'm developing a 1 to 3 player co-op, third-person melee combat game inspired by the titles like Shadow of Mordor, Arkham series, and Ghost of Tsushima. Picture brutal, weighty combat where every strike has real impact, the kind of visceral gameplay that makes you feel every hit, which is good because impact is very important. And I love Shadow of Mordor. I play Shadow of Mordor, play Shadow of War. I played a couple of Arkham games, not all of them, but I know the very flowy combat very well. And Ghost of Tsushima is a fantastic game on top of that. Not the most interesting because the combat gets kind of stale. And that's not like a thing that gets repetitive because repetitive isn't really a critique I like to use because everything gets old. Everything at some point will get repetitive, whatever you do. But for some reason, this game kind of felt a little on the nose. So, but I like the game nonetheless. So he says, where you come in, I've developed 3 distinct settings for this game, each with unique enemies, weapons, abilities, and the worlds. Before I commit the one direction, I want you to know which settings excite you the most. Fag will directly shape the path we take. What makes this special? We need third-person melee combat with satisfying mechanics, a full combat system with brutal finishing moves, 1 to 3 player co-op so you can play or you can slay your enemies with friends, built with community input from day one. See, right from the get-go, I don't understand what this whole gaming era has been about from 1 to 3 players. I bet the 1 to 4. That may be the older gamer in me, but it's like, what happened to 1 to 4 players? Why everything 1 to 3 players? Space Marines 2 is a 3-player game. Destiny 3-player game. This one be a 3-player game. Imagine in Left 4 Dead it was a 3-player game, or Dark Tide or Vermintide, and a co-op game. Remember if they're just 1 to 3? You know, it's like, could we bring back 4-player combat, 4-player co-op instead of having this 1 to 3 player? It probably is a thing to be. It's probably more of a thing on limitation of the system or to make things run better. But I'm really tired of these things doing 1 to 3. Can we just go back to 1 to 4? That'd be great. You know, not that it will take away from this game, but like if you got 3 friends, you probably got 4. You know, who only has 3 friends? If you got 3, you got 4 probably. So the survey. I'll bring together a survey showcasing all 3 concepts. It'll take about 4 to 5 minutes, and you'll be directly tied to the future of this project. We will do this after we get done reading the rest of this. There's also a prize for anybody who was interested, and I will leave the link for the Discord in the description if I can do that. Thank you. Everyone takes part will be entered to one of 3 $50 Amazon gift cards. It's your chance to be part of something from the ground up, which is the channel all about, discovering games and kind of watching them as they grow. Those who participate can expect early access opportunities, beta testing, and continued involvement as development progresses. If you have any further thoughts, please visit Game Project Discussion. I can't wait for this setting, which setting resonates with the amazing community. Let's build something incredible. And there's a video here. I'll showcase some combat. This was the audio too. Hold on. Okay. 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 Sorry for the Discord beeps. Definitely has the Arkham vibe already. And then more of the sword. Oh, that's actually blocking. I mean, that was like a missed time pair you block instead. The kind of games you don't ever really block. Or blocking isn't really ever an option. Oh, now you got a consumable potion. You're gonna call it a Souls like game. Watch. Okay. Okay. I like what I see. See. I really do like what I'm like seeing. It looks really, because it has weighty combat, finishing moves. Everything they said it's gonna be is pretty much this, and this is a rough draft. And it looks really fun to play. Right on top of that, I love games like this as you can really show like skill expression, or essentially like how good you're at the game. You know, like if you ever played I forget which Batman game it was that essentially you had the 100 player, 100 enemy gauntlet. And if you get, I used to try and get that entire thing without getting hit once. I come home from school, this is in middle school, high school, every day, and try and get through the entire thing without getting hit once. And that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Now, everything was great. Everything's fun so far. And on top of it, it has a big sword already. I already love the fact that I got a big sword. You know me, I'm a size queen. All right, I love my swords big, a little weighty, and I wanted to. They say anything about different weapon types by chance? They didn't say anything about that, but I'm pretty sure it might be in the survey. So, really cool so far. I really love what you're doing. I don't know exactly who the dress person has on top of that too. I wish I know what to call their name, but I really like what I'm seeing. So, I believe we will move on to doing the survey. All right, so we have the survey. I do apologize. This is if I'm gonna get flashbang by this, there's no dark mode on here, and this is all we have is this really bright goddamn thing going on. So, and also apologize if it's hard to read, and I also apologize for having me being the one to read it. We're currently exploring 3 game ideas, all third-person co experiences for up to 3 players, which should be 1 to 4, focus on the impact of melee combat. List your honest thoughts on this, what excites you, what doesn't, and how distinct each concept feels. Let them know which game you think would be most fun to play. Each page includes a short description of the game and a high-level game flow outlining how it plays and how progression works, followed by a few questions. The survey will take only a few minutes, and your feedback will help inform which direction we take next. And this will also be a description as well. If there's anything to go by, multiplayer, Batman. If you're play, actually, I don't want to say the multiplayer mode like in Batman Arkham Origins, which was pretty fun, but I would think something like Gotham Knights, which was, if I ain't played Gotham Knights, I think it was a fantastic game. It was like a perfect 7 out of 10 game. It could have been a lot better, but for like a spin-off on a Gotham Batman kind of game, I think it was pretty fun. So, let us take this survey. Choose our next adventure. Before we start, there's a couple questions about you. Please enter the Discord handle so you can enter your prize draw. You don't worry about that. Age, I am 30. Geographic region, I am in North America. The titles you apply, tells you I played Baldur's Gate, I played Bloodborne, I played all the Dark Souls. I played all of them. I played every single one. I played 1, 2, 3. I played Onion Ring. I played Bloodborne. I played Demon Souls. I played them all. I never played Darkest Dungeon. I've watched it though. Played Diablo. I got beat Demon Dark Ages. I didn't beat it. I played Onion Ring, God of War, Ragnarok, and Dylan. These are both fantastic games. And I played Hades. Unfortunately, it's on the list. I heard it's fantastic. I think they didn't know Game of the Year, I believe. Hours 2 is a really fun game. Kingdoms Come Deliverance, I did not play any of these games. I was thinking about playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, but I think it came out around the same time as Dragon's Dogma, I think. And if it didn't, I already had Dragon's Dogma, so I didn't need that. I have played Monster Hunter Rise. I've been playing Monster Hunter since Try on the Wii. Never played Mountain Blade. I know this is a really fun game. I know it's heavily modded. Under from the Ash and Remnant 2. amazing games. If you've never played Remnant from the Ashes or Remnant 2, I recommend it. Eternal, have not played this game. I heard it's been fantastic. I actually own it. Shadow of Mordor, I've played this. We just talked about it. Stations 1 and 2, played it. We just talked about it. Vermintide, Darktide, just talked about it. Then I played The Witcher. It's on the list. I played it. That's knows my camera's also burned, but oh well. This is the perfect plan. I play on every platform except mobile. Fuck you. We just had your top game modes. I do like co-op a lot. You play more than one? I do all of these. I like them all. I like them all. I'm gonna put them all. I play like my PvP. My favorite ones. I play the finals. For PvE content, Warfare can be out there. I'll play co-op. I'm not struggling here. I like co-op a lot, but I can't remember last time I really played anything really co-op related besides Warframe. But I mostly play solo in Warframe. Running from Ashes comes to mind. Darktide, single player. I love single player games. Ninja Gaiden recently came out. Doom, love all that stuff. These are the genres you actually play. Action adventure, RPGs, shooters. I'm not big on strategy, not because I don't like strategy. I love like Dawn of War. I think Dawn of War may be the only strategy game I've really played. Well, XCOM. Game for XCOM. I was a XCOM. But I don't really play them too often. Simulation. I love a simulation already, so not too much. Sports. I haven't played sports games since sports games were fun. Like NFL Blitz and NBA Jam and Hoops and all one. Back when sports games were fun. Slugfest. I haven't played them since then. These suck. Racing games, it depends. Racing games really ain't been too much that great as of late. My last one I really loved was Burnout Paradise. That shit was fantastic. Puzzle games, it depends if it's purely puzzle or it's kind of puzzle like God of War is like puzzly sometimes, but I don't directly play puzzle games in themselves. I do play MMOs. A lot of them are trash these days, but I mostly play PSO and GS. And when I play PSO and GS, I sit in the lobby all day and talk shit to people and have fun. So, every time how much time you spend gaming a week, definitely more than 15 hours. Gaming is my life. Select games, please select activities you take part in. Not a lot of D&D. I can't paint with a damn. Can't draw with a damn. I don't know if ERP counts as LRP, but I don't read. I do like watch fancy movies. I just watch Avatar and Marvel. Physical sites. I'm not a big fan of history. I've only been to one convention. I have to go to more though, and I don't know about on online fan game. I mean, I do join Discords, so I guess I'd say so. So I'm kind of boring as these go. I would like to read more stuff. I just don't have time. Read them out. I got a whole Berserk manga. I got the first Berserk manga I haven't fully read yet. Choose your adventure, Stormborn. Rate the Viking film of winter as the last great winter crushes the world. All that lies shattered at broken halls, fallen gods and warriors are strewn across the frigid seas and ruined lands below. Endure the storms, crush all who stand in your way, mortal or mythic, and sail your longboats across the land in search of a new home. Is this what's that Viking? Is that Valheim? Isn't this Valheim? Pretty sure that's not even on the list. I don't like anything being compared to Assassin's Creed because Assassin's Creed's ass. Assassin's Creed has been trash since I want to say Origins, because Origins was like the last one that was like decent, but everything like after that, ass. That's why it's called Ass Creed, not Assassin's Creed. But that plus Helldivers. I never played Icy Ragnarok, so I don't know what this is exactly. But if it's Helldiver, that means like an endless, almost hopeless situation with a lot of enemies. And I would love to slaughter a lot of enemies. You know, this reminds me of Shadow of Mordor. Walking over beat that game. And because I would be killing so many motherfuckers, I would get tired of playing. Like, I would like set off to do this mission. I'm like going there, and all I hear is Ranger. I'm like, who the fuck is calling me now? And now I gotta kill him. And then somehow he got a lieutenant. I gotta body him, and then I'm gonna run away, and then out of nowhere, there's some other orc who just happened to be there, and they're out here range. I'm like, bruh, and I gotta kill him and all his friends, and then I gotta kill all his friends, and then it's a lot. Not saying I didn't love killing every single motherfucker, and then I'll get killed sometimes too on top of that, cause I'm not invincible. But after a while, it gets exhausting. I'm like, bro, I just want to do the mission. I'm just trying to get through. But some people do really like that grueling kind of gameplay, so I'll give it to them. And roguelike is really good because roguelike already adds a lot of replayability. Hopefully done correctly though. We play Viking Raiders fighting to survive the end of the world. Choose your class: Berserker, Seer, Shield Maiden, or Hunter. Then gear up and launch longbow raids into regions locked in particular perpetual winter. Force your way across the map using brutal third-person melee combat, bringing magic and counterattacks, executions, and legendary weapons to carve through rival raiders, supernatural beasts, and the remnants of fallen gods. Gather resources, treasure, and relics once carried by the Einherjar. I'm not good with my Vikings rusty. And then fight your way back to your boat to upgrade weapons, lock skills, and reinforce defenses and pressure for the next run. Each raid pushes back the encroaching frost and storms, reshapes the world, and allows you and your kin to press deeper in the search of a new land to escape the apocalyptic Ragnarok. Choose to embrace new gods or resurrect the old gods. High level game flow. Choose your class and gear up on the longboat at the region. Launch a raid, fight, pillage, and gather food, treasure, and resources, climb villages, and push back the spreading frost. Fight back with the longboat with your carry, upgrade weapons and skills and defenses. Prepare the next raid. So all I'm picturing is mainly Hell Diary at this point, or the other game that's like a survival. What was it called? Like Frost. What was it called? It was a cool game. It was like a roguelike, and you had to like get resources and bring them back to the village or something like that. I forgot the name of that game. I don't know. As a concept, I can see it working pretty well. I'm not sure about classes. Like sometimes I like classes, sometimes I don't. You know, it all depends on like what's in the kit and how you like you can like maybe like kind of morph a class. Because if we do class systems, I like when class systems are, you be able to like really morph the class into what you really want it to be, or somehow make a class like use in a different way that other people don't use that class. Like a berserker, say maybe they have a build that's like all about like low health versus somebody who has like a full health build kind of thing, or like a kind of like Fallout. I mean, not Fallout, but like how do I explain? So what's a good game that has like a classes but you use them differently? I want to say like DC Universe when I used to play that back in the day. There's a class called Celestial, and there were two sides to the power. One power was light, other power was dark. And on top of them, in your trees, you also had different abilities on top of that, so you can kind of be really different from the person next to you using the same exact class. Or even if they use darkness, sometimes they will tap into the light. Some people will only use dark. Some people use light and dark. Some people use more dark than light kind of thing. I'm trying a better example. I mean like maybe Remnant too, because Remnant you have classes, but you have different abilities you can use on each class and stuff like that. If we do classes, I just want a way to be different from somebody else using the same class as me. Besides, like, oh, he does more damage, or like, you know what? Outriders is a good example, because Outriders had many ways to morph abilities to be different from somebody who's in your exact same class. And that's what I want, is just people who are, if they're my same class, can be used differently, and it kind of shows, like somebody might use this move more than use that move, or some people have more of a dodge build versus a parry build. Sword Frame kind of has the same way kind of thing too, in a way. But yeah, I'm all for this kind of concept. I give it a 4. Would you be able to play this with friends? Probably 5. I just want to understand what the game is and what you do in it. Intelligence is a hell of a thing. We have yellow tape gamers for a reason, and gamer journalists. So for me, I don't think it'd be too hard to understand this kind of concept. I'm also not an idiot, and I've been playing games my entire life. So if there's nuances to things and secrets and stuff like that, that makes sense. Not everybody would get that, or strategies to do things differently or better. but for the base concept, it's pretty easy to understand. Understand does this feel compared to other co-op games? Um, well, it just sounds like Melee, Helldivers to me, to be honest. And then you throw in some jazz, some cool jazz. That's what you're doing right now. Um, Kind of reminds me of like Valheim and kind of just Valheim and Helldivers together. Um, I feel like the managing part, you'd be like one long campaign kind of thing. I don't know. It sounds, but like it's kind of hard to be original these days for anything in specific. So I'm gonna give it like a 3. You know, it's the most appealing thing about this concept. Um, hmm, that's a good question. What's the single most appealing thing about this combat or this concept? Um, I want to say number 3: fight, pillage, and gather food and resources. Because like, if it's gonna be, we're on the gameplay, it's gonna be like, well, what's it gonna be like to fight, pillage, and gather food? You know, am I gonna be like, is it kind of spoils of war where if I'm done fighting, you start looting kind of thing? Do I loot while I fight? You know, am I pillaging and fighting at the same time? This is like you need like minute to minute kind of gameplay things. But I think 3 be like the will be my most appealing part of this. Biggest concern or turn off of this concept. Um, Having classes not feel different, or having to play the same class, but they what's the word I want to use? Having classes not feel different, or having people play the same class, but they don't have anything different between them. Really don't. I don't want to say here, but they don't um have different ways to play. Have a different way. Um, Having classes not feel different, or having people play the same class and play the exact same set of making the class their own variant, if that makes sense. I want, like I said, I want things to feel different and whatnot and all that jazz, because I just don't want things feeling the same over and over again, or people who play my class won't be any different. I don't want people who don't, I don't want two berserkers doing the exact same thing, essentially. That'd be boring. Next, Blackfall. I like the name of that, Blackfall. No, it should, before we even get into this quiz, I feel like every game that has fall in it has fallen. I've seen a meme or some discussion like that. Like every game has fallen, has fallen. Godfall, um, not Titanfall. Titanfall did not fall. I mean, it did because of EA, but I'm pretty sure there's a couple games that have fallen it and it just didn't turn well. So we just changed the name to like Black Rise. I don't know. Elevator pitch. The Blackfall Scholarium, a 17th century Gothic cameo, was shattered by a catastrophic alchemic experiment that unleashed a corrupting black rain upon the world. Forged away into its depths, wielding gunpowder and steel against twisted creatures and fanatics devoted to forbidden knowledge. Claim rocks torn from forbidden other gods, shaping each distinct and follow the corruption to its source. They got Bloodborne, Parker's Bungeon, and 17th century occult disaster. I don't. This is a game where I just like the context. Love Darkest Dungeon as a concept. I love the narrator. You know, just the despair you feel in the fighting, stuff like that. Darkest Dungeon has a really good narrative and a really good vibe and feel and just despair about it. Bloodborne, good combat. One thing I like about Bloodborne was like it's lagging in armor. I think it's like in armor and weapons, but the gameplay was cool. Enemies were cool. The lore is cool, but I don't want another Souls game. We've had too many Souls likes. If we're keeping the combat, but if we have the aesthetic of Bloodborne, if we have the aesthetic of Bloodborne, and then you give me a great sword, Bloodwing's blade, with a nice shroud or a long coat or long shroud with the cape pop, give me some of that. I would love that. And then you kind of have like this constant, like depth going deeper and deeper, more and more stakes. It's almost kind of dark, tidy in a way. But you kind of go deeper and deeper, and it's just like more and more corruption kind of thing. I think there's a game like this recently that kind of came out. It's kind of like that. I forgot what it was called. It's on my Steam's list. It's called Demon Blades, and it kind of reminds me of that. If you don't know Demon Blades, just look it up. It's pretty easy game. Blackfall is a co-op action dungeon crawler with tavern, or where travelers drawn to cleanse the world's blight explore the ruined alchemic Scalarium corrupted by the ever falling black rain. Choose a traveler class at the still lamp in duelist, musketeer, alchemist, or plague doctor. So we're going. I think this might be all class based. An armor self provides weapons and volatile reagents. Fight through shifting wings of the Scalarium using precise third-person melee dodge and gunpowder weaponry, parries, and occult matches to survive twisted constructs and failed experiments. Locate awoken eldritch gods and work together to slay them, while it's ascending deeper into the madness to find the source of the catastrophe, and cleanse it. Catastrophe, that's how they say it. Collect relics and reagents, the treat to the still lamp in refuge. The still upgrades unlock new travelers, like new travelers found in the Blackfall, and will dangerous alchemic transformations. Each relic and reagent alters the Scalarium on the next descent, revealing deep layers of catastrophe if you make it back then through the rain alive. I can't read, I'm sorry. I will say I like this setting way more than the first one, mostly because I'm more into the dark, gritty kind of thing. I like my what they call the what do they call it in 40k? It's grim dark. I think that's what I'm looking for. I like my grim darkness, no happiness where I am. And honestly, if I'm thinking like this, I really like how Vermintide does it with characters, and they interact with each other, they talk to each other, they have like characters and lives and voices. So if we do that, I'd be down for this. One thing I would like, because when I see Duelist, I'm thinking Path of Exile, because Duelist is my favorite Path of Exile. I'd hope they have some kind of ascension system like in Path of Exile, where you kind of like upgrade your character to the next class or the next rank of the character, and then you kind of like that might change the whether he plays or mechanics that he gets. That'd be a really cool thing. Like maybe the Musketeer could have like a shoot parry instead of like a regular parry, and things like that. Alchemists, if they do a parry, if they're on last stand, they can throw a vial or something like that, or throw vials on the ground kind of thing. Stuff like that would be really cool. So, how level game flow? True travelers at the still lamp. Select Scalarium entrance and starting relics. This kind of reminds me of basically these darker dungeons. I think the Blackfall procedural wing generates based on relics. Fight, explore, and gather relics, new biomes, and reagents, new wings. Locate bosses, reagents to forge new paths and ascent deeper. Die returns to still lamp, and with what you kept, the still upgrades, unlock new travelers, and prepare for the next run. Now I'm thinking, how will this work in like a third-person kind of game? Because like, how would this work? Because I want to see like fights and like open areas and stuff like that. How would you like fight in caverns and like enclosed spaces and stuff like that? Because you can't just have open arenas all the time, unless it's like open arena and then like you move on to the next open arena. You have to do something about that, some kind of different geometry, to make this kind of work. But appealing, that's a 5 on me. That's a 5. That's a 5 out of 5 right there. Definitely with friends. Granted, I'm probably playing also with solo, but definitely with friends. I know it's probably difficult for some people because relics and like procedure generated things and like builds and whatnot. I'm gonna get, I'm still, like I said, I'm not an idiot, so I probably won't have a hard time grasping it. But tip gamers. So since then, does this feel compared to other co-op games? I'm probably get all these at 3 because these concepts are clearly, and like they said, they're taken from things I already know about. So how different would it be? I don't think it'd be that different, but I won't be proven wrong. I always like to be proven wrong. Most appealing thing about this concept, I want to always choose from a list because this is the choices they give, and this is what you're gonna get. So I like 7. I want to say 7's the most. I like the most because after I want to see getting stronger is always the fun part of games. Is always getting stronger and doing more things you did in the last run. What's the biggest concern of this concept? Hmm. I'm not sure. Nothing really exactly turns me off. All these things turn me on, actually. I'm not too sure what exactly does that. Um, I think my biggest concern might be like how the level design would work with a third-person action melee game. Hopefully it's not always open arenas and it has diverse spaces to fight. I'm not sure if we're gonna be like doing like your typical level, your typical Souls geometry where you have like elevations and ladders and stuff like that. You trying to get to the end of the level, because if I'm thinking what I might be thinking right now is just like could be like a Left 4 Dead, but like Arkham's kind of thing. You have like a horde slasher in a way. Like you kind of try and get through the level. There's enemies here and there, and then sometimes burst enemies are trying to get out. You're trying to like platform and do stuff. That sounds kind of cool. That sounds kind of cool. Imagine like if you had Left 4 Dead, but it was Arkham style. So you'd be fighting zombies left and right, punching, blocking, trying to get the horde out the way, and then move to the next thing. Exploring here and there, kind of thing. I kind of like that. Hell's Crusade. So okay, so we have 3 names for games. Okay, so ooh, I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing. Okay. Hell's Crusade. Elevated pitch. In 1527, I wasn't born that year. Portal to hell tears open beneath Rome, and the world's powers consolidate into the Spire, a colossal mega cathedral ruled by the immortal holy matriarch. You and your fellow sinners are not heroes, but condemned warriors seeking redemption. I think that's the same thing as Dan Blade's kind of what is redemption war. There's not a lot of original concepts in the world anymore. Armored and blessed, lowered screaming into hell inside sanctified iron maidens. That's kind of badass. Fight side by side the brutal medieval weapons, carve through endless demon hordes, and earn a position together, one kill at a time. So this one definitely reminds me of Damon Blades. I'll put that down below. I might show some gameplay, but synapses of the game. But it's kind of heavily reminds me of Damon Blades. So, game equation, God of War. Love God of War. Love Vermintide. Vermintide Chaos Waste in specific is Vermintide. It's basically the roguelite for Vermintide. And then Diablo. Personally, not a big fan of Diablo. I prefer Path of Exile because Diablo mostly is just basic. I give them props. Diablo did a good job. Diablo 4, even though they had many balance patches and still doing it. Path of Exile to me is just a superior version of Diablo. You have a better end game. Yeah, it's free to play. A lot more build diversity by a long shot, and story is way more convoluted. I like things more convoluted. But Diablo isn't bad. If people like the game simpler, then I'm not gonna knock over being simpler. But I like my games more in depth, much like Path of Exile. So if this was Path of Exile instead of Diablo, I am more inclined. But it's still an ARPG on top of that, so I'll still rock with the idea. Hell's Crusade is a brutal competitive co-op medieval melee brawler. They used to seek redemption by dropping into hell, such a class, the crushing penitent, the pyre-like inquisitor, the pious exorcist, or the relic-wielding zealot, because I have a zealot. And lock yourself into an armored maiden as you plummet thousands of feet into demon-infested ruins beneath the spire. Imagine the cutscene of your dudes walking into an Iron Maiden and then putting their hands like this, that thing just slams closed. I like and then the dust kind of goes all the sarcophagus and stuff. That's kind of cool scene in my head. Rampage to the 9 circles of hell, wielding devastating medieval weapons, great swords, my favorite, that cleave through hordes, warhammers. I love warhammers also. That smash demon skulls and pole arms, pole axes that split enemies in two. Complete horror orders assigned by the divine bureaucracy above bureaucracy. Reconcentrate or Yeah. Consecrate, desecrated altars, recover sacred texts, or hunt down demon lords. Once the quota is filled, when the century balance survive over a demon horde, or the spire lowers your chains, hook on, get wind step, or fall over. Now this definitely has the Helldivers vibe at the end where you gotta wait for your ship to get back. Return to the spire to spend your tithe on indulgences, build and expand the spire, upgrade weapons, and absolve more sin by dropping again. High level game flow. Choose a class and gear up at the spire. Select the Circle of Hell and enter your Iron Maiden. Fight, purge, and gather relics, resources, and artifacts. Topple infernal strongholds and push back demon incursions. Ring the Ascension Bell and survive. The demon swarm. Return to the spire, grid weapons and armor and doctrine and drop again. Overall, how appealing is House Crusade as a game concept? I'm gonna give it definitely a 5 because like I like God of War, Castaways is amazing, and I like loot, so I'm gonna give it a 5. Yeah, I'm gonna be petty because it's saying Path of Exile. It's a Diablo. I'm gonna give it a 4. Like you like to play this game with friends. Very likely, how does you understand the game is? I'm not an idiot, so easy for me. Our Symptom does this game feel compared. So I'm not trying to say everybody's an idiot. Some people have different learning and stuff like that, but it's not hard for me to pick up. Our Symptom does this feel compared to other call games you know. A 3. See the most appealing thing about this game. I want to say Circles of Hell and Enter Iron Maiden. That sounds like a dope. That sounds dope. That just sounds dope. That's all I gotta say right there. Um, Biggest concern in terms of this concept. I feel like that it might just be another generic medieval game that doesn't really add anything. That doesn't with the mix. That's pretty much it for that. Like I said, it sounds really great though. The concepts, I'm definitely gonna put Blackfall first, House Crusades, and Stormborn in that order. Blackfall, Grim Dark. You got Bloodborne aesthetic on top of that, and then Darkest Dungeon of all those things. House Crusade, God of War, Diablo. I thought that game wasn't up in there. Oh, and Vermintide. Not really a big fan of Ass Creed. I don't really know about the other sections in that part too. It's just I'm not a big fan of the like Viking aesthetic. So definitely these two on there. So that's how it took extra long. Long as I was kind of paused up and choking up on things that I wanted to say or do. But I'm gonna put all the descriptions, everything in the description, so y'all can take the survey for yourselves, look through it, talk about it, because this guy's gonna need a lot of feedback. If he's making a great game. And I like what I'm seeing so far. So, anything, let me know. Let's have a discussion, talk about it. Other than that, everybody take it easy and catch you later.